NYC. Thank you very much. Let's be seated, please. Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, represented here by the Honorable Minister of Environment, Malam Balarabe Abbas Lawal. Let me welcome the Director General of the National Council on Climate Change, Mrs. Omotenioye Majekodumi. I'd like to welcome from the United Nations, the UN Resident Humanitarian Coordinator in Nigeria, Mr. Mohammed Malik Fall, the UNDP Resident Representative, a woman that has become an Amazon and daughter of Nigeria, Miss Elsie Atefwa. They taught me how to pronounce her name this morning, and I've been calling her for a million times. I welcome you. Thank you very much. Let me welcome the tripod that's put all of this together. Comrade Yusuf Olatunji Kilani, essay to the President on Climate Change Matters. Olamide Fagbuji, SSA to the President on Climate Technology and Operations. And Ibrahim Abdullahi Sheleng, SSA to the President on Climate Finance on Stakeholder Engagement. Let me welcome our expert lecturer here today, one of the internationally recognized experts on environment, Professor Babajide Yalo, other members of the diplomatic corps that are here, development partners, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today is not just another date on the calendar. Today is a decision to protect our land, a decision to protect our future, a decision to protect generations yet unborn. Welcome to the official launch of the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour 2026. On behalf of the Presidency and the Federal Ministry of Environment, I warmly welcome all of you to the historic occasion here in the State House. Your presence here today signals one thing: Nigeria is ready. To all of us, climate change is no longer a distant warning. It is here. It affects our farmers. It affects our food security. It affects our economy. It affects our children. But today, at this event, Nigeria responds. The Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour 2026 is a 6-month nationwide campaign that will travel across all geopolitical zones and states, educating, mobilizing, empowering, inspiring, and the collective climate responsibility. So this is not just a government initiative, this is a national movement. I'd like to welcome all of you. My name is Ebere Young, and to kick us off, let me invite here Comrade Yusuf Olatunji Kilani, SSA to President on Climate Matters, to welcome all of us. Kilani, please.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, he'll be represented by the Honorable Minister for the Environment, Malam Balarabe Habas Lawal. The resident coordinator in Nigeria of the United Nations, Ambassador Muhammad Fall, representative of the governor of Delta State, here present, representative of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, here present, Your Excellencies, Director Generals of different agencies and parastatals, here present, representative of the Governor of Osun State, representative of the Governor of Plateau State, representative of the Governor of Enugu State, our distinguished environmentalists here present, members and staff of the Federal Ministry of Environment, members and staff of the National Council on Climate Change, development partners here present, members of the civil society here present, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is with profound honor and deep appreciation that I welcome you all to the official launch of the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour, RECAT. Today marks not just the unveiling of a tour, but the strengthening of a national movement, a movement anchored in leadership, partnership, resilience, and the unwavering commitment of the federal government to serve Nigeria's environmental and economic future. Why this tour? Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, climate change is no longer a distant forecast. It is here. It is in the floods displacing our communities. It is in the advancing desertification across the north. It is in the coastal erosion threatening livelihoods in the south. It is in the food price volatility affecting every Nigerian household. Climate change is now a development issue, a security issue, an economic issue, and a social justice issue. The Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour was conceived to do three critical things. One, democratize climate knowledge, ensuring that citizens understood both the risk and the opportunities of climate action. Two, bridge federal and subnational action, aligning state-level implementation with Nigeria's nationally determined contributions, NDCs, Energy Transition Plan, and National Adaptation Plan. Three, mobilize partnerships and investments, unlocking innovation, climate finance, green jobs, and private sector participation. This tour is not about speeches alone. It is about activation. How the tour will work. Following today's historic launch, RECAD will proceed across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones, beginning with 2 strategic states per zone in the first phase. In each zone, the tour will convene high-level policy dialogues, town hall meetings, technical roundtables, and innovation showcases. The innovation showcases highlighting clean energy, methane abatement, waste to value, climate-smart agriculture, and green enterprise solutions. This is a whole of government and whole of society approach. We are taking climate action beyond conference halls, into communities, into markets, into farms, into the classrooms, and into policy chambers. A defining moment. Script. Distinguished guests. Today's launch carries even greater significance. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ably represented by the Honorable Minister for Environment, will shortly officially unveil SCRIPT program, Sustainable Climate Resilience and Initiative for People and Transformation, SCRIPT-T. A landmark national initiative for climate-smart agriculture and ecological resilience in Nigeria. SCRIPT represents a bold key step towards 1, scaling down climate-smart farming practices, promoting ecological restoration and regenerative agriculture, strengthening food systems resilience, empowering farmers with innovation, technology, and access to finance, creating green jobs for youth, enhancing productivity while protecting biodiversity. This is how climate action becomes economic transformation. This is how resilience becomes prosperity. And definitely, this is renewed hope in action. Gratitude and acknowledgement. Permit me to express sincere appreciation to His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for his visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to climate responsibility and national renewal. This the President has shown in his activities, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but in the global space. To the Vice President for continuous support towards intergovernmental coordination. To the Chief of Staff and Secretary to the Government of the Federation for administrative guidance and institutional backing. And of course, to the Honorable Minister of Environment, who has ably led and supported the RECAD Committee with dedication. To the Director General of the National Council on Climate Change for technical leadership and coordination. To all participating ministries, departments, and agencies whose collaboration strengthens this initiative. To our development partners and the United Nations system for sustained partnership. To our civil society organizations whose grassroots presence ensures accountability and inclusion. To the youth, women, and persons with disabilities whose voices and innovations are indispensable. And to the entire RECAD Committee, whose tireless efforts have made today possible. This is collective leadership in motion, a national call to action. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, climate change cannot be solved by government alone. It requires governors to integrate climate risk into developmental planning, legislation to prioritize enabling frameworks, private sector leaders to invest in green transitions, farmers to adopt climate-smart practices, youth to lead innovation, citizens to enhance sustainable habits. This is our moment. Let Nigeria become the model for climate resilience development in Africa. Let our states compete not in vulnerability, but in innovation. Let our youth see climate not as crisis alone, but as opportunity. Let us learn. Let us turn methane into energy. Let us turn waste into wealth. Let us turn resilience into national prosperity. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ably represented by the Honorable Minister for Environment, on behalf of the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour Committee and all partners present, we respectfully thank you for your leadership and for honoring us with your presence today. Distinguished guests, welcome to the beginning of a nationwide movement. Welcome to Renewed Hope in Action. Welcome to RECAT 2026. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome and recognize Omar Mohammed Ibrahim, the Director General of the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency. Is here with us. I welcome you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker looks at the climate from a financial point of view. And that's why the principle that guides him is that we did not inherit the environment or the earth from our ancestors, no, but we are borrowing it from our children. I'd like to welcome here the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Climate Finance and Stakeholder Engagement. Please welcome Ibrahim Shelek.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, allow me to stand on existing protocols, as the saying goes. Today, we are not simply flagging off a tour. We are flagging off a national mobilization. As my colleague earlier mentioned, climate change is no longer a distant projection. It is visible in our floods, our droughts, our food systems, our coastlines, and in the pressures on our energy infrastructure. But within this challenge lies one of the greatest economic opportunities of our generation, and that's in climate finance. Nigeria has committed under our nationally determined contribution to reduce emissions by 20% unconditionally and up to 47% with international support by 2030. These are not abstract percentages. They represent energy projects to be built, farms to be transformed, infrastructure to be strengthened, and jobs to be created. Through the National Council on Climate Change and under the leadership of His Excellency the President, the country has established a strong legal institutional foundation for climate action. The Climate Change Act provides governance clarity. Our energy transition plan outlines a credible pathway to net zero by 2060. Our new carbon market framework positions Nigeria to participate effectively under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. But policy alone does not reduce emissions. Plans alone does not build resilience, but capital does. So climate finance is the bridge between ambition and implementation. And this is why this tour matters. The Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour is designed to take climate finance from conference rooms to communities, from strategy documents to state-level project pipelines, and from global negotiations to local economic opportunity. Over the coming months, we will work with states to identify bankable climate projects aligned with our NDCs, strengthen subnational readiness for carbon markets and climate funds, build credible project data, monitoring and verification systems, and connect investors with viable, high-integrity opportunities. We are shifting from conversation to coordination, from aspiration to aggregation, and from scattered initiatives to structured pipelines. Nigeria's promise is immense. We have abundant solar resources capable of powering industries and communities. We have agricultural land that can transition to climate-smart productivity while generating carbon assets. We have forests that, if properly managed, can become engines of nature-based finance. We have youth, innovation, and entrepreneurship ready to power a green economy. But to unlock this, we must ensure three things. First, credibility. That's strong governance, transparent MRV systems, and integrity in carbon accounting. Second is bankability. Projects that meet investor standards, structured with proper risk mitigation and blended finance mechanisms. Third is collaboration. Federal, state, private sector, development partners, and communities working in alignment. Climate finance is not charity. It is investment. It is industrial policy, and it is economic strategy. Under the Renewed Hope agenda, we are positioning climate action not as a burden, but as a catalyst for growth, jobs, and competitiveness. This tour will serve as a platform to listen, to engage, and to mobilize. We will leave each state not just with awareness raised, but with tangible pipelines strengthened and partnerships formed. Nigeria must not merely participate in the global finance system. Nigeria must lead. As we flag off this tour, let it be clear, we are building a climate finance ecosystem that is structured, credible, and investment ready. And we are doing so with urgency because resilience cannot wait, and opportunity will not wait either. The people that are struggling with land degradation and annual flooding cannot afford to wait for us. We have to get moving. Distinguished guests, the future will belong to countries that turn climate ambition into economic transformation. And Nigeria has to be ready. Let us move forward together to finance our resilience, power our transition, and secure a prosperous future for generations to come. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. While he was speaking, the Honorable Minister of Livestock Development, Alhaji Idi Mukhtar Maiha, walked in. Honorable Minister, I welcome you especially. Thank you very much for what you are doing in the sector. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And also here is the Administrator of the Nigerian Judicial Institute, Honorable Justice Babatunde Adejumo OFR, retired. My Lord, I welcome you. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker totally believes that the climate will not wait for politics because nature only responds to action. He is the SSA to the President on Climate Technology and Operations. Please welcome Olamide Faguchi.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister, His Excellency, the Minister of Environment, the Minister of Livestock Development, honorable members of the Senate Committee on Decarbonization, distinguished development partners in the room, and all our guests who have joined us here today. I just want to make some very brief remarks on why we are here and why technology matters for the energy transition for Nigeria. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for making themselves available for this poignant moment in the history of Nigeria. The climate transition, energy, poverty that affects Nigeria is really something that we have a mandate to make sure that we address. Now, Nigeria ranks one of the countries in the world that is ranked as an energy poor nation. The second thing that we have to understand is that the exacerbating effects of climate change are very, very present in the regions of Nigeria where you do not expect people to be able to act on their own. This is why we have put this climate change awareness tour together. The first thing that we have to recognize is that the cost of inaction is 12 times as costly as the cost of action that is not meeting the requisite action that should be taken in time. Now, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has mandated us to deal with these issues in real time. As a country, we have a lot of issues that we're going to be able to address if we do not meet this objective. So I think I'll just go to my speech and say it's a privilege to speak on the overview of climate technology in Nigeria, not simply as a policy concept, but also as a national development strategy. Climate technology refers to the systems, infrastructure, and innovations that reduce greenhouse gas emissions, strengthen resilience, and enable sustainable economic growth. It spans renewable energy, gas transition systems, carbon capture, clean cooking, climate-smart agriculture, and circular economy models. Now, we have to also bear in mind that the measurement of these climate effects is not something that we are not able to, we're not able to predict climate effects we cannot measure. So we also need to invest in advanced research and energy technologies. Globally, nearly 40% of cumulative emissions reductions required to meet climate targets depend on technologies that are not yet commercially viable, deployed at scale. This tells us that something important. Climate technology is not optional. It is a bridge between ambition and reality. And Nigeria's contribution to global emissions is among the most, is the least, one of the least in the world, but is one of the most vulnerable nations in the world. We face rising sea levels, coastal flooding in the south, advanced desertification in the north, increasingly frequent extreme floods, over 80 million Nigerians living without reliable electricity, and annual forest loss exceeding 300,000 hectares, largely to fuel wood dependence. Therefore, it is not only about emissions, it's about energy access. It is about food security, it's about jobs, and it's about economic survival and long-term prosperity. It is clear that the government of Nigeria has paid to what we're supposed to do institutionally and has foundationally established the National Council of Climate Change in 2022, which is the apex coordinating body supported by key ministries and departments and agencies, and the senior special assistant to the president are in a position to actually help with coordinating climate action across Nigeria. Our pathway to net zero, also articulated in the Energy Transition Plan, sets our net zero target emissions by 2060 while delivering energy access, and it's estimated that approximately $410 billion in incremental investment is required between 2021 and 2060. above business as usual spending will be required to decarbonize the economy and eradicate energy poverty. Not to mention our updated national determined contributions also committed to reducing energy emissions by 20% below business as usual by 2030, but also up to 40% with international support. I think this is a call to action to everybody to also understand that all hands on deck and that our decentralized and renewable energy systems are most required for rural electrification. Nigeria has deployed over 1 gigawatt of decentralized solar mini-grids and solar home system, powering MSMEs, universities, health centers, and rural communities. And these are some of the achievements that we've had so far, but more needs to be done. Secondly, comprehensive power sector reforms in the Electricity Act as decentralized electricity markets. Many states are now able to generate electricity by themselves and extend that into an actual viable market. The Climate Change Awareness Store is designed actually under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and Nigeria's climate agenda is pragmatic and growth-oriented. The Renewed Hope agenda targets a $1 trillion economy, and that ambition must integrate the green industrialization, expanded electricity access, and millions of jobs for the rapidly growing population. However, with the localization of value chains, we need to understand that if more is not being done by the team who are supposed to handle the climate change awareness, and we're not creating awareness in the country, then we will not be able to achieve these goals. With all that said, and I apologize for being all over the place, I just wanted to say that we as a team, as the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Committee, are committed to the climate action, and we will be going to the states and also mobilizing support for all things climate related. There are many gaps that we need to fill. We need to expand on agriculture, rural electrification, and also youth innovation and empowerment. So these are some of the things that we'll be hoping that we can extend our participation to our development partners, subnational governments, and also private sector. The mobilization of capital for startups and entrepreneurship is key to achieving this goal. I will rest here by saying thank you very much for attending, and I want to really sincerely thank my colleagues and all members of the committee for their unwavering support and also their tirelessness in putting this together. In closing, I just want to say God bless Nigeria, and thank you everybody once again for attending. Thank you.
God bless you too. Thank you very much for your work for Nigeria. We appreciate you. I'd like to quickly welcome the Deputy Governor of Delta State, His Excellency Sir Monday Onyeme, Deputy Governor of Delta State. He's here with us. I welcome you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. And also here, the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Jigawa State, representing His Excellency Malam Umar Namadi, the Executive Governor of Jigawa State. Dr. Nura Ibrahim is here with us. Thank you very much, Dr. Nura Ibrahim. We appreciate you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a woman of substance in the environmental space. She's an environmental lawyer, a climate finance expert. In the last 17 years of her life, she has been busy with clean energy, carbon market, and policy reform. Right now, she is the Director General of the National Council on Climate Change. I'd like to welcome her, Mrs. Omo Tenioye Majakodomi.
Wow, a fantastically full room. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers of Environment and Honorable Minister of Livestock, distinguished Deputy Governor, permit me to stand on all existing protocols. It is my profound honor to deliver the remarks at this historic launch of the Renewed Hope Climate Awareness Tour. Under the visionary leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria has repositioned climate action from a peripheral environmental concern to a central pillar of national development, economic growth, and sovereign resilience. This decisive shift reflects a clear understanding that climate action is not a constraint to development, but it is a catalyst for prosperity. Anchored in the Climate Change Act of 2021 and under the direct chairmanship of Mr. President, the National Council on Climate Change serves as the supreme coordinating authority guiding Nigeria's transition toward a climate resilient and economically competitive future. Today, Nigeria is no longer speaking in terms of ambition alone. We are driving measurable progress. Through the National Carbon Market Activation Framework, we are unlocking a new frontier of economic opportunity, transforming climate action into a strategic driver of investment, job creation, and national revenue, unearthing at least a $3 billion green economy. Through clean energy expansion and innovative national programs, we are improving energy access, reducing costs for citizens, and strengthening Nigeria's long-term economic resilience. Nigeria is demonstrating clearly that climate leadership and economic growth are not opposing forces. They are mutually reinforcing imperatives. The Renewed Hope Climate Awareness Tour represents the next phase of this national transformation. It is the operational bridge between national policy and local implementation, ensuring that climate action is fully embedded across our states, our communities, and our economy. This tour brings climate governance closer to the Nigerian people. It strengthens subnational capacity, mobilizes private sector participation, and empowers the next generation of Nigerian innovators and leaders. So it affirms a fundamental principle. Nigeria's climate future will not be built by government alone, but through a unified national effort. As such, the National Council on Climate Change stands ready to coordinate this effort, working across all ministries, departments, and agencies in partnership with state governments, the private sector, and the civil society to ensure that Nigeria fully captures the economic and strategic opportunities of the climate transition. Distinguished guests, this tour represents a platform to strengthen your state's readiness, to attract green investments, and accelerate sustainable economic growth. To our private sector, it signals clarity, certainty, and opportunity. Climate action is now one of the defining investment frontiers of our time. To our youth, it affirms the green future will be built by your innovation, your leadership, and your ambition. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is not waiting to be shaped by global climate transition. Nigeria is helping to shape it. We are building the institutions, the frameworks, and the partnerships necessary to secure our future, strengthen our economy, and protect our people. Your Excellencies, this tour reflects your vision to bring climate action closer to the Nigerian people and to ensure that our national ambition translates into real opportunity across every part of the country. And so without further ado, I want to just end by saying Nigeria is ready, Nigeria is moving, and Nigeria will lead. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I totally agree with you. Nigeria is moving. Nobody says it's better than lawyers. Can we put our hands together one more time for this amazing woman and her articulation? Thank you very much. Right here with us, I'd like to welcome the Special Advisor on Climate Change and Circular Economy, representing the Lagos State Governor. I welcome you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ekabo. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to speak on behalf of the Honorable Minister for Environment is the Director of Forestry in the Ministry. Let me welcome here Halima Bawa Buhari.
Thank you. That sounded very nice. I forgot it was Ramadan. I would have started dancing. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, kindly allow me to follow the established protocols. And as you've heard from the eloquent MC, I'm here to deliver the Honorable Minister of Environment's keynote address to this event. And I am very pleased and highly honored to do that. With that being said, the Honorable Minister would want you to know it is with profound honor that I welcome you all to Abuja for the official flag off of the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour. It is an initiative that firmly aligns with the Renewed Hope agenda of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, and places sustainable development, environmental protection, and economic resilience at the center of national development. Climate change is no longer an abstract global discussion. It is here with us, from desert encroachment in the north to flooding across our riverine communities to coastal erosion in the south and changing rainfall patterns affecting our farmers nationwide, showing the impacts are real and actions are urgent. Nigeria has responded with decisive leadership. The enactment of the Climate Change Act 2021 established a historic legal framework for coordinated climate governance, carbon budgeting, and a pathway to net zero emissions by 2060. It institutionalized climate action across all sectors in the country, signaled Nigeria's solemnity under the Paris Agreement. However, climate governance must move beyond the federal level. It must be domesticated at the subnational and the grassroots level. The ministry has worked closely with states to institutionalize climate action structures, which include designated subnational directors of climate change to coordinate policy development and implementation. Additionally, climate change desks have been established across ministries, departments, and agencies at the state level. Extensive technical capacity building on greenhouse gas inventories, climate reporting, adaptation planning, green budgeting, and climate finance access. In line with transparency and results-based governance, the ministry has hosted 2 series of annual subnational climate governance performance ranking and launched the reports. This innovative framework is to assess states' performance in climate policy, adaptation planning, mitigation efforts, climate awareness, and green investments. Encourage also healthy competition among states, promote accountability and measurable outcomes, and attract climate finance and private sector partnerships to states. Climate leadership must be measurable, visible, and deliver results for citizens. To further strengthen peer learning and accountability, the ministry established the Community of Practice for Commissioners of Environment on Climate Change and Environmental Sustainability, a platform that promotes collaboration, knowledge sharing, and coordinated implementation across Nigeria's 36 states and the FCT on climate change and environmental stewardship. This platform ensures that climate action is not fragmented but harmonized and strategic. Climate future lies with the youth. Through the Eco School initiative, we are mainstreaming environmental education and climate awareness in schools across states in Nigeria. Students were engaged in mentorship skills to expand climate education and awareness, tree planting, school gardens, and afforestation drives, waste segregation and recycling programs, environmental clubs, and sustainability projects. We are nurturing a generation that understands sustainability not as theory, but as practice. Furthermore, the ministry implemented the Youth Climate Innovative Hub, a platform designed to harness climate innovative ideas and continued interface with young people for the implementation of practical solutions. The UniGo Green initiative aims to empower young Nigerians with skills and mentorship in green entrepreneurship, climate technology, renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, circular economy solutions, and digital climate services. We want Nigerian youth not only to advocate for climate action, but also to build businesses and careers around it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's event marks the beginning of a nationwide movement. The Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour will travel across the 6 geopolitical zones to deepen public awareness and understanding of climate risks and opportunities, engage traditional rulers, religious leaders, market associations, women groups, and youth networks. It also will promote renewable energy adoption, including solar mini grids in underserved communities. It will encourage sustainable consumption and waste management, and it will mobilize grassroots climate champions. As the SSA on climate said earlier, climate action must move from conference halls to communities. Let me emphasize that climate action is not a constraint to development, but a driver of development. Green growth presents enough opportunities for renewable energy investments, carbon markets participation, climate-smart agriculture, nature-based solutions, green jobs, and innovation. Nigeria stands ready to leverage climate finance and international partnerships to support our transition to a low-carbon and climate-resilient economy. This tour is not a government program alone. It is a national movement, and we call on state governments to strengthen climate institutions, private sector to invest in green technologies, development partners to lead innovation, and every Nigerian to become a climate champion. The future of our environment is the future of our economy, security, and children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with strengthened subnational structures, empowered youth, accountable governance frameworks, and nationwide awareness, Nigeria is positioning itself as a climate leader in Africa. In the spirit of renewed hope, let us rise together to build a climate resilient, environmentally secure, and economically prosperous Nigeria. Thank you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
music is different from every other person. They must be in love with you. Let's put our hands together for her, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I'd like to welcome Professor Chinwe Obuaku-Igwe, Director General and Special Envoy of the Governor of Osun State on Climate Change and Renewable Energy, representing His Excellency Ademola Adeleke, Governor of Osun State. Also here, we have Professor Al-Amin Mohammed, Special Advisor to the Katsina State Governor, representing His Excellency the Governor. Honorable Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development is also represented here by Prince Javier Eyamba. Hanatu Salhat, Special Advisor, Intergovernmental Affairs, Kaduna State, is also representing His Excellency the Governor of Katsina State. Professor Sam Ugu is representing His Excellency the Governor of Enugu State. Professor Sam Ugu is the Commissioner for Environment and Climate Change, Enugu State. Dr. Abba Aliu is also here. Dr. Benga Lade, Mrs. Patience Oyekunle, representing the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a few speeches from some of our United Nations partners. Let me welcome an amazing woman here, committed to Africa, committed to Nigeria especially. She's the UNDP representative in Nigeria, Ms. Elsie Atefua. Okay. Maybe because I love to hear your voice all the time. Every time I see you in the audience, I want you to come to the microphone. So for her not speaking today, let's appreciate her again. She has a strong voice on the continent. Thank you. Thank you. So let me welcome here, representing the entire UN family, Mr. Mohammed Malik Fall. I thought I was the tallest in the room until I saw him. I welcome you.
Thank you so much, MC. By the way, you are not wrong. Elsie has such a level of energy and such a great voice that it's always a pleasure to listen to her. Let me I know we are caught by time, but I wanted to recognize a few dignitaries in this room and before moving or standing in the established protocol. Let me first start with the Minister of Environment, Balarabe Abbas Lawal. I know we have also in the room the Minister of Livestock Development. We have in the room the Director General of the NCCC, a number of special assistants to the presidents or the vice president, the member of the diplomatic mission, the senior official from ministries, departments, and agencies. We do have also our UN colleagues in the room, and I wanted just to recognize them. And our friends from the press, and the major ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor on behalf of the United Nations in Nigeria to join you this morning for the launch of the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour. A national initiative aimed at strengthening public understanding, enhancing state-level action, and deepening community engagement across the Federation. This launch comes at a really crucial time. At a time where Nigeria faces intensifying climate risk, from flooding, desertification, to coastal erosion, extreme heat, and ecosystem loss, all of which undermine economic stabilities, infrastructure, food system, and public health. Responding effectively requires not only a national leadership, but a strong subnational engagement, because climate impact manifests nationally and locally too. We have seen climate also impact, manifest it other community life in the workplace and deepen the fragile ecosystem that we have. This is why the 36th state of Nigeria and the Federal Government Forum remain absolutely central to Nigeria climate response. The tour deliberate focus on state-level collaboration and is therefore not just welcome, but it is essential. It strengthens vertical coordination, align national and state priority, and ensure climate solutions translate into real improvement on the ground. As the United Nations, particularly through our United Nations Development Program, UNDP, we are proud to support Nigeria leadership. Allow me to highlight 3 significant developments that demonstrate Nigeria's growing climate ambition and readiness for a scale climate financing. First, with UNDP technical support, the National Council on Climate Change has developed Nigeria National Carbon Registry, a critical instrument for tracking emission and making sure that emission is reduced and ensuring transparency. Second, we support the development of a carbon market activation policy, which established the rule and pathway for Nigeria to participate effectively in carbon market. Third, together, this institutional advancement position Nigeria to attract climate financing at scale, helping the country respond to rising climate impact and expand renewable energy and strengthen resilience. These achievements comment with today's launch. It reinforce the Nigeria climate leadership. The tour will help advance preventive action, promote climate innovation, enhance state-level governance, and deepen partnership across the Federation. It will deepen also partnership between government, development partner, private sector, youth, and civil society. Crucially, it will strengthen cooperation with state government, without which Nigeria cannot meet its climate commitment or safeguard its community. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria pathway is clear. Growth and climate resilience must advance together. Subnational leadership will determine the path and the depth of our progress. The United Nations remain committed to support the federal government, the Governors Forum, and every state in translating climate ambition into a real, measurable climate action. On behalf of the United Nations system in Nigeria, I congratulate the presidency and all partners for this extremely important milestone. We look forward to working closely with the federal and state institutions to ensure that climate action deliver jobs, protect livelihood, and secure a safer and more sustainable future for all Nigerians. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
That's the voice of the entire United Nations in Nigeria. We want to thank you. I'd like to welcome here Dr. Barrister Ismail Ahmed, Executive Chairman and CEO of Presidential Initiative on CNG and EVs, Professor Innocent B. Barikor, DG Nasria, Mrs. Titilola Oshodi, representing His Excellency the Governor of Lagos State, Captain John Roland Tonlaga, representing the Commission Chief Executive of NUPRC. Also here, let me welcome the chairman of AMCON that is here with us. I'd like to welcome all of you. So we'll quickly go into some goodwill messages, short goodwill messages, and I'd like to welcome the managing director of AMCON to please step forward and give us a short goodwill message. Welcome you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. As a banker, I want to speak like a banker to you. I believe that the whole effort of climate change and the management can actually be helped by the Nigerian financial system. In most countries, I know that climate change banks take some lead, particularly in funding clean energy, in funding mass transit, which automatically reduces carbon footprints. Can you imagine if in Abuja today, we have walking trains all over from one part of Abuja to another? The same thing in Lagos, the same thing in Ibadan, and people don't have to carry their cars. They don't have to use their cars. Automatically, carbon footprints will reduce. However, as MD of AMCON, I have noticed one thing. Even when banks are willing to finance, a lot of people take advantage, take money, and never repay. I have seen it all. A lot of people that we respect in the country today, they owe so much money to AMCON. Not that they don't even have the means to pay, but they don't have the willingness to pay. I want to congratulate His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for this initiative. He's a man of vision, and I believe that everyone here is aligned with that vision, and together we can help Nigeria to be in the lead of this important event. Thank you very much. God bless you.
You know, the beauty in the lives of bankers is that they go straight to the point. It must be bankable. It must make financial sense. Please appreciate Mr. Agbenga Alade, the Managing Director of AMCON. Thank you very much. We thank you very much. Very quickly, let me welcome the Managing Director of Rural Electrification Agency, Mr. Abba Abubakar Aliyu, for his own goodwill message. Okay.
The Honorable Minister of Environment, my brother, the Honorable Minister of Livestock Development, would like to adopt the protocol that had already been established. The Rural Electrification Agency is a federal government agency responsible for bridging the electricity access gap. And we do that leveraging on sustainable and reliable means of addressing the electricity challenge. From our own perspective, we are the implementers and we are the people that have our feet on the ground in different communities, providing electricity, addressing the excess challenge, and catalyzing economic activities, and at the same time, also creating sustainable environment within the country. Currently, for the first time in the history of this country, we are implementing the biggest publicly funded renewable energy project in the entire world. A $750 million project approved by Mr. President to electrify 17.5 million Nigerians by deploying 1,350 mini grids, of which 250 of them are going to be interconnected mini grids across the country. As at today, also for the first time in the history of the country, over 1,000 mini grids are being deployed across the country. Mr. President deserves a round of applause for this. As at today, we are deploying over 50 interconnected mini grids, of which 280 megawatts of clean, reliable, environmentally friendly electricity will be injected in the country. These 50 interconnected mini grids are being developed with the entire distribution companies across the country. As at today, we are building talent pipeline in partnership with United Nations Development Program, where 131 Nigerian youth are being trained in deploying reliable and environmentally friendly renewable energy across the country. As at today, we have noticed catalyzed over 150 renewable energy service companies across the country. The Nigerian renewable energy service companies are not only deploying infrastructure in Nigeria, but they are now exporting technical competencies and knowledge to other African countries to deploy infrastructure and address electricity access challenge. As at today, other African countries are coming to Nigeria to learn how we are deploying sustainable and reliable infrastructure to address electricity access challenge. Last year, we hosted the Mozambique team, and this year we have lined Burkina Faso, Niger, Liberia, and Gambia to be hosted and be taught on this deployment of infrastructure. Then lastly, and the most important one, in as much as we are aware that the infrastructure or the equipment we use in addressing this electricity access challenge are mostly imported across from China, we have started a conscious effort to reverse the importation of this equipment. Before the coming of Mr. President, the total PV, photovoltaic panel manufacturing capacity in Nigeria was just 120 megawatt capacity, manufacturing capacity. But as of today, the total PV manufacturing capacity in the country is over 500 megawatt, and we have a pipeline of 3.7 gigawatt manufacturing capacity in the pipeline. This would position Nigeria not only to be the renewable hub of Africa, but to be the most economically, environmentally friendly economy in the West Africa. Credit goes to Mr. President and my boss, the Honorable Minister, and we will continue to partner with all the stakeholders to continue to deploy environmentally friendly infrastructure to address electricity access challenge in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. From Zenith Bank Nigeria, the bankers are increasingly supporting affairs of the environment and the climate. Mrs. Victoria Iwerono, the Deputy General Manager, Zenith Bank of Nigeria, and other bankers that are here are used as a point of contact to recognize all of them and welcome all of you to this event. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome here a man whose agency is creating a more affordable and cleaner alternative to petrol and diesel. Our environment is cleaner, our cars are stronger and cleaner because of the CNG. The chairman, the executive chairman of the PICNG, Barrister Ismail Ahmed, is here with us, and would like to hear his voice in a short goodwill.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to represent my chairman, Barrister Ismail Ahmed, of the Presidential Initiative on CNG. My name is Jide Awolowo. I'm the Chief Investments Officer of PICNG. Distinguished guests, please allow me to stand on the existing protocol. Distinguished guests, partners, stakeholders, members of the press and fellow Nigerians, it is my honor to extend warm greetings to everyone gathered here today for the Renewed Hope Climate Change Tour. This initiative is a shared commitment to shaping a future where economic growth and environmental responsibility go hand in hand. Climate change, as we all know, is a present reality that demands practical solutions, bold leadership, and collective action. As a nation blessed with vast natural resources and a dynamic population, Nigeria has both the responsibility and the opportunity to lead by example. The transition to cleaner energy sources, sustainable mobility systems, and climate-conscious infrastructure has become an economic imperative. Though initiatives such as ours, the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas and Electric Vehicles, through initiatives such as the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas and Electric Vehicles and other clean energy interventions, we are demonstrating that it is possible to reduce emissions, create jobs, strengthen local industries, and improve livelihoods at the same time. The path to sustainability must also be a path to prosperity. The Renewed Hope Climate Change Tour serves as an important platform to deepen awareness, foster collaboration, and accelerate action across sectors. Government, private enterprise, civil society, and communities all have a role to play in building a climate-resilient Nigeria. I commend the organizers for creating this space for dialogue and engagement. Let this tour inspire practical commitments, innovative partnerships, and measurable outcomes that will benefit both present and future generations. Together, we can turn climate ambition into climate action and ensure that renewed hope is not just a slogan, but a living reality in our energy choices, our policies, and our daily lives. Thank you so much to everyone, and I wish this tour every success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before our keynote speech or our expert talk, let me quickly welcome here Chief Solomon Edebiri, who loves to motivate the young people in terms of investment, because as far as he's concerned, the future of any nation lies in the hands of the youth. Chief Solomon Edebiri, please. Thank you. Chief Solomon Edebiri is the managing director of David's Mines Nigeria Limited, who are into mining, digital solutions, renewable energy, equipment supply, and many more. And he loves to motivate the young ones in Nigeria for them to go into investment. I welcome you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented, and I'd love to stand on the existing protocol established. First, I'd like to congratulate the President for this wonderful initiative of carrying out the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour. Over the last decade, we have been carrying a campaign of understanding, getting people to understand the values, the menace of waste, the values in waste, and the wealth in waste. As you travel across the regions, you won't easily see the effect of drought. It's a seasonal thing. The flood, menace, is seasonal. But across every region you go to, you are going to witness the menace of waste. From Lagos, the southwest, Port Harcourt in south-south, to Jos in the north-central, just across the country, southeast, you will find waste. But I feel that with the country generating over 30 million tons of waste, over 88,000 tons of waste every day, let this committee begin to look critically, and the country begin to look critically at the usability of this waste. We must take our attention to converting this waste into wealth. A few times, we have proposed to the Minister of Environment before this administration that there's need for a very concise effort to have an initiative, a policy, where waste to be converted to power. For instance, 600 tons of waste on a daily basis can give you 10 megawatts of power. And we understand what that can do for Nigeria. So if a state generates an average of 30,000 tons of waste, 6,000 tons of waste, so what it means, on a daily basis, we can get 50 megawatts of power from that waste. So, in having clean energy, in averting the effect of carbon display across the country, in averting the health hazard associated with waste, landfills, and all that, we must make a policy. The federal government, I'm glad the Minister of Environment is here. We must make a definite policy on waste management in Nigeria. The hazard is enormous. And as we travel, I'm sure we'll gather more data on the menace of waste across the country and come back to establish a policy that can permanently solve this. We'll get power, we'll get manure, and many other things hid from it, and our nation will be better. To get 1 trillion economy, you need a strong nation with power and with healthy people. Congratulations once more. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to recognize the Managing Director of Hyperdeck, represented by Dr. Jimoh Haruna Gabi, the Director of Admin and Finance. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, It's now time for our expert talk, our keynote address. And this will be presented by an internationally acknowledged expert in environmental management issues and chemical pollution. All over the world, he is recognized and known. His voice is strong on environmental issues. He's here with us. We are very happy to welcome here Professor Babajide Ibitayo Alo.
Your Excellencies, let me recognize especially the Honorable Minister for Environment, my brother, my friend, Balarabe Abbas Lawal, representing the head of state, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. I have a few slides, and I hope IT people will be able to push the slides up. If not, then we might just talk. All protocols duly observed. And I want to preamble by thanking His Excellency, our President, for allowing this to occur, bringing together experts, Nigerians from all cadres, and I've been asked to simply galvanize all of this into a situation that would bring it to your easy appreciation by asking me to talk on securing our climate future, empowering communities for a resilient Nigeria. I don't know whether the IT people are able to project. It will be easier for me, but if not, then I will spend shorter time, which may even be easier. Permit me to recognize our Honorable Minister for Livestock Development. You're very welcome, sir. Livestock issues are very important in ensuring a resilient Nigeria and empowering our communities. I fervently hope that the participants at this workshop or this launch, as it is, rather than a workshop, will live here and see the opportunities of educating that will be derived from the awareness tour. The easy way to do, and what I planned to do, the slides have failed, is to simply introduce to the audience, because I know we have here a mixed audience, what climate change is. It's simply one of the biggest development challenges facing Nigeria, not only Nigeria, but facing the entire globe today. In fact, I titled it The Existential Challenge for Humanity. The entire globe has climate change posing an existential challenge for the human race, human lives, food security, public health, socioeconomic indices are all purely affected by climate change effects. If the slides run, I have a few pictures to show you how climate change gets into even your sitting room in your house and how it affects the effects it has there. I also have a few slides to show that criminality and climate change in our region are so interrelated and so interconnected. Conflicts as well are arising from climate change effects in the region almost on a daily basis. Of course, we've had in papers presented that I almost felt there was no need to even have an expert view other than for me to endorse the papers that came. Yeah, okay, the slides are now back on. Hotter temperatures are some of the effects you get, severe storms, increased drought, rising ocean, loss of species, not enough food, more health crises are seen on a daily basis. Poverty and displacement are also some of the things that come out of climate change effects. Next slide, please. And we go on to some theoretical background. Climate change, how it impacts the world, how we get disrupting precipitation patterns and intensity of extreme weather events. Of course, it is estimated, and I will show some data later, that $2 to $4 billion are costs that are anticipated by 2030 if we want to really attack issues of climate change. Next slide, please. So because our region is dependent on rain-fed agricultural practices, therefore the region is very prone to civil conflict arising out of droughts, food scarcity. And so we see the Boko Haram insurgents across the country, conflict concerns in the Sahel, we see it almost on a daily basis, climate change impacting mental health, you see individuals misbehaving because of undue heat on them. Next slide, because of time. So these conflicts that arise from climate change effects in the region is daily affecting us. The demographic disruption we see and associated social tension resulting in increased interpersonal violence and crime. Next slide, please. So we go on and we see that Nigeria obviously is not going to sleep on it. All our agencies here have spoken, goodwill messages have shown us that yes, we're doing something about climate change in our country. However, I need to say, in a manner not too comfortable, that most climate change activities and initiatives have focused too much at the federal level, with very limited attention paid to the state of climate change policy, plans and investment at the state level. This is a big gap, considering that the impacts of climate change are mostly borne by states and that policies and actions at the subnational level are critical to addressing climate change and attaining that our ambition of a net zero target. Next slide, please. So several studies have been done. Several studies have gone on this issue of low climate knowledge and awareness amongst our subnational entities. The weak public awareness and limited policy frameworks at the subnational level continues to be a big problem. So these gaps in national climate governance reveal serious structural and institutional weaknesses that we need to address. So I start by saying that we need to have a harmonized subnational climate action framework that will enhance capacity at the subnational level, that will improve public awareness, and strategies to recalibrate our institutions at the subnational level in a form to transform the symbolic commitments that we have put in place into realizable climate actions. Next slide. So we need to raise knowledge and awareness amongst the subnational entities. And I'm able to say this very closely because one of the states that are quite active in climate change issues in this country is Lagos State. And I drove climate change annual conferences for that state for the past 7 years. So I know what it has done in changing the situation in Lagos State compared to what we have in several other states in the place. But we are glad, and I must loudly say it, that many states are now coming on board, copying what went on in Lagos State for several years and changing the scenario in their states. So I say that towards this end, there's a strong need to raise nationwide awareness and mobilize collective action towards ensuring climate resilience, as well as introducing climate-friendly lifestyles and adopting innovative green economic activities and opportunities. Next slide, please. So this awareness tour, we are so happy it is coming, it is happening. All the objectives of the awareness tour has been well delivered, and I won't waste time repeating them again. Next slide, please. Again, the program, climate change is simply caused by carbon cycle disruption and nature balance. Fossil fuel consumption, depletion of the carbon dioxide imbalance, trapping of IR radiation from the sun, and all of these are reasons. Next slide, please. So there is the natural greenhouse effect and there is a human-enhanced greenhouse effect. I introduced some of these technical things into my talk, as it were, in order to just show people that human existence is being seriously impacted with all of these human-enhanced greenhouse effects, natural greenhouse effects. Next slide. Again, I just put some pictures there to show you some visible effects that we see. You see the picture on the right, the entire vegetation there is denuded, and obviously there are common pictures we see almost on a daily basis, and then floods all over the place. Next slide. So, yeah, impacts of perturbed climate in Nigeria. You can see Lagos there, what is happening, where all the buses, the danfos are all loaded with water. Houses are going on underwater. Next slide, please, because of time. Now we get to the meat of the matter, securing a climate future. Securing a climate resilient future requires shifting from top down, and I put emphasis on this, shifting from top-down technocratic approaches to locally led adaptation practices, where communities are empowered to lead in defining, in designing, and implementing climate solutions. And because these local communities face the most direct impacts of climate change, their experience, indigenous knowledge, and active participation are essential for building lasting, effective, and equitable resilience. There is no way we can achieve resilience without empowering the local populations to take ownership of climate solutions. And that will be done by leveraging indigenous knowledge, investing in local capacity, and fostering inclusive decision-making for us to be able to get to where we want to be. So communities can proactively mitigate climate risks and build long-term adaptation solutions. That's the point I want to put on the table. Next slide, please. So in essence, there are benefits of community empowerment. We will get higher impact, we will get social cohesion and peace building, we will get efficient resource utilization. I keep saying it that if we involve the local communities, we will get better social cohesion and peace building. All the security issues we have can easily be solved if we take the communities along in suggesting solutions to the impacts of climate change that we see on a daily basis. Next slide. So in that sense,
I want to say that introduce some key strategies to empowering communities. One is leveraging local knowledge. 2 is inclusive decision making. 3 is building local capacity. Building local capacity is so important. Strengthening the capacity of local civil society, local NGOs, and community groups to manage their resources, to plan for their risks, and implement solutions. Without our being able to do that, we will not get. If we just sit in Abuja and we continue to make policies, that are not grassroots grown, we probably will not get there. Next slide. There will be challenges, obviously. What I'm saying looks like an easy go-through, but there are challenges. Community-driven action will be effective. It will face hurdles because of limited funding and lack of technical access. So less than 10% of international climate funds, typically only about 10%, in fact less than 10% of internationally available climate funds reach the local level. And so what do we see? To overcome this, I am therefore suggesting that initiatives must provide direct financing to the local level. So channeling funds directly to local institutions, and by 2030, we will then be ensuring 70% of funds support community-chosen adaptations. In that way, we will move to where we want to be. We need to strengthen local governance, of course, because our local, if you don't build their capacity and you throw money in there, the money will go into the drain. We need to place trust in local communities, supporting their agencies and providing the necessary resources. In that manner, we can build a more robust and resilient future for all. Next slide, please. So, inclusivity and equity, that is so important. We need to achieve effective resilience building. We must actively involve the women, the youth, and the marginalized groups in the decision making. The women and the youth run the grassroots, and that's why it's important that it must be there. We need to develop climate-resilient livelihoods, and we need to scale up community-based actions, which is the main thing we are lacking now. Community-based actions are lacking. We need to move from pilot projects to systemic change projects that will involve supporting community-based disaster risk reduction strategies. Risk reduction at the local level can only be achieved from information coming from the locals to prevent loss of life and property. Next slide. So, I say there are, in fact, straight solutions from nature. Natural infrastructure can provide cost-effective protection. We've always said it, that we need to plant trees. We need to restore and conserve. Protecting and restoring the ecosystems like mangroves, wetlands, forests will act as a natural buffer against floods, storms, and coastal erosion. Of course, sustainable agriculture, we cannot overemphasize the importance of promoting agroforestry, ensuring we do drought-resistant crops, ensuring we carry out soil management practices that can enhance food security and reduce our vulnerability. Next slide. So I want to, say we need to empower our communities better in order for them to handle shocks through resilient decentralized systems like decentralized energy. I was so proud of our managing director from the Rural Electrification Agency this morning. Thank you so much for that. We need to give him a round of applause. Fantastic work is going on in that agency. And the only thing that can change us is what the Rural Electrification Agency is doing at the grassroots level. Provide units of electricity that can drive things. The small and medium enterprises, they need this electricity. So decentralized energy is so important. Shifting to local renewable energy sources, which is what you are doing, and we are glad about that. Water management, improving water conservation rainwater harvesting and drainage systems to reduce risk from drought and floods. Water management is so important. I was expecting maybe this morning we will have the Minister for Water Resources in our midst, but the Minister for Livestock is here. They are brothers. He will let him know that water management is so important. Climate-ready infrastructure, implementing resilient designs and construction practices, such as raising home foundations, help communities better withstand extreme weathers. Next slide. Quickly, please. Then, of course, education, raising awareness, which is what this climate awareness store wants to achieve, to educate our locals, to ensure that they are, even if they are not totally trained, but we raise their awareness and let them know the importance of climate resilience. We give them access to information, provide access to early warning systems, climate data, and weather forecasts. People listen to the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, but do they even imbibe what Nigerian Meteorological Agency is predicting for us, it's forecasting? Connecting with networks. So we need to support community-driven local networks, like Community Practitioners Platform for Resilience. We can create that in each of our communities, a platform to teach people what to do about resilience, to share best practices, to amplify local voices on global climate changes. Next slide, please. Then the big elephant in the room, providing access to finance and policy support. While local action is crucial, it must be supported by adequate, accessible funding. I've talked about the importance of direct financing to the local communities, and then supportive policies. We develop local and national policies. We've reached the stage now where we need to have local climate change strategic plans at the local level. We have a national policy, fine. We have different initiatives at the national level. The National Council on Climate Change is developing several different initiatives, but we need to take them to the local level. Next slide, please. So, Nigeria has submitted its third generation NDC 3.0. It's an ambitious document. For everybody who is in the room, if you don't know what the National Development Contribution 3.0 is, please take time and look at it. The key aspects of that document pledges that we will have emission reductions, a commitment to cut emissions by 29% by 2030 and 32% by 2035 relative to the 2018 levels. Of course, we distinguish between conditional and unconditional. 20% unconditional target remains. 80% of the new commitments are conditional upon international support. That we can achieve. Next slide. That we can get to if we are committed to it. And that's why I draw attention to the national climate change and the launch of the NDC 3.0. We need to put our mouth where, we need to put our money where our mouth is. We've made pledges internationally. Our head of state has made pledges in Abu Dhabi. In January this year, we need to be able to meet with those commitments. Next slide. So, of course, NDC 3.0 talks about importance of forestry and land use. We have a commitment to reduce deforestation by 60% and plant 25 million trees annually. I hope we can achieve it. I hope we can reduce tree cutting for charcoal and wood, using wood, fuel wood and all that. I hope we can achieve it. If we can, that's where we ought to do. And we can only do so by educating our locals, by educating the grassroots. The typical woman at the grassroots level still considers that he just goes, cuts a tree, and makes the dinner for the family. But it's not helping climate change. Transport and waste, promoting electric mobility. I was glad our man on the CNG vehicles is here. 30% of vehicles to be electric by 2035, and reducing open waste burning. But the gentleman before me just came to speak my mind, that we have tons and tons of waste across the country. It is not rocket science anymore to turn waste into energy, but we need to get there. For the first time, the NDC integrates the health sector with a commitment to deliver 2,000 climate-resilient primary health care facilities by 2030. So Mrs. Maja Kodumi has so much on her shoulders to provide 2,000 primary health care facilities across the country by 2030. Now, I need to put this on the table, that the implementation of the goals and the pledge is estimated to require $337 billion US dollars between 2026 and 2035. Well, can we achieve it? It is not unachievable if we are committed and we put our priorities right. Next slide. So in concluding, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to secure our climate future, we need to empower our communities and the grassroots. To secure our climate future, we need to develop our economy and improve our resilience built on sustainable development. We therefore need to revisit our priorities and living styles, imbibe responsible consumption and production, enforcement of reduction of carbon footprints in all sectors, in line with the severity of our emerging climate change challenges. We need to drastically improve our subnationals, the states, in their climate action. Where they don't have it, they must have it, and climate readiness by improving their capacities. But I put emphasis, and that's why I put it in capitals, that our subnationals need help. We need to increase climate education and awareness at the subnational level. So this road tour, which we are launching today, is exactly the way to go. It's a path we need to take. We need to empower local governments and communities at the subnational level and enhance their access to resources. Through that, we can foster sustainable, adaptive, and prosperous communities. Next slide, please. So I think that must be, yeah. Appropriation for climate action should be clearly spelled out at the local level. There should be subnational government initiatives. And in closing, I want to say there are a number of recommendations there, but because of time, I will just go to say and remind us that empowering communities is not only a strategy for survival, it is a proactive way to build a more equitable and sustainable world, ensuring that as the climate changes, livelihoods and ecosystems will remain secured for future generations. And finally, I want to put emphasis that each of us has a role to play, and each of us should make the difference. Next slide. Because we do not have a plan B for our climate impacts and distress, because there is no planet B. We only have one planet, and therefore we cannot think of a plan B other than to think of how we can ensure climate resilience. Next slide. I thank you so much. Next slide. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
The NYSC is celebrating the professor. Thank you very much, Professor Alo. We appreciate you. The Director General and CEO, Nigerian Meteorological Agency, is represented here by the Director in charge of Weather Forecasting Services, Professor Vincent Welly. I'd like to welcome here the Project Coordinator of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, Professor Neni Barini Zabi, represented here by the Liaison Officer, Dr. Dambari Kute. And also here is the managing director of Sterling Bank, who is represented by the group head of renewable energy at Sterling Bank, Mr. Sheyi Okunuga. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when we interrogate the issues around environment and climate change, there are also very knotty legal issues around it. And that is why we're very happy that the administrator of the National Judicial Institute is here with us to unpack some of these issues in a short goodwill message, not more than 3 minutes. As I welcome here the administrator of the National Judicial Institute, Honorable Justice Babatunde Adeniran Adejuma, OFR, retired. My Lord, I welcome you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Environment, your other Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am highly honored to deliver this goodwill message at the Renewed Hope Climate Change Program. Before I move, I have to thank Comrade Yusuf Olatunji Kilani, SA to the President on Climate Change, Olatunji Fagbuyi, SSA to President on Climate Change Technology and Operation, as well as Mr. Ibrahim Abdullahi Shelling, SSA to the President on Climate Change Finance and Stakeholders Engagement. Why? You paid a courtesy call to me in my office a couple of weeks ago, intimating me with the purpose of this tour and seeking my presence so as to put some light on the possible implications and the problems that may be arising and the way forward. Laws, as stated in the statute books, are just skeletal until judicial pronouncements are provided as flesh to make it functional. No matter how good policies are, no matter how very serious and nice the lawmakers pronounce on laws, until when the judiciary pronounces on the efficacy of the law that it becomes functional. It is good to dwell on this climate change. And it is well to discuss the issue between the national and subnational governments. Now, there must be domesticated laws concerning the national policy, which are now framework. How, when disputes arises between the national and subnational issues of law, how do we resolve them? When people's lands are trampled upon because the Climate Change Council wants to make some improvement, people will go to court. The Constitution guarantees every Nigerian whose right has been infringed upon to approach the court to seek a redress. How are these issues resolved? This is where the judiciary is very paramount in the actualization of this project. It's a laudable project, good for our people. But the challenge is no longer distant. The environment concern is now with us, and we must face it headlong. But facing it headlong, even internationally, it has been discussed, the legal problems that may be coming up. Issues of constitutionalism, issues of interpretation, issues of funding, and issues on how these issues could be dialogued upon. And that is where the judiciary is here. At the National Judicial Institute, that is the foremost judicial institution in Nigeria, who takes over training and retraining through conferences, seminars, and workshops, all judicial officers in Nigeria, starting from the magistracy to the Supreme Court. If and when this comes operational, the project, There are plans. I've discussed with the motivators of this program. We must engage the judicial officers on what is going to happen, how it may be considered in the overall interest of the Nigerian people. Laws are made for people to be obeyed. In obeying the law, some people's rights must have been infringed. They would approach it, some legally, some would do otherwise, which the law should be there to take care of. We at the National Judicial Institute, we are well prepared to support the actualization of this project. Not by dictating to the judges what they should do, by letting them approach the public interest litigation. That is, you should not look at the judgment from the purpose of the parties before you alone. Consider the consequential effect of the larger society while making a judicial pronouncement. Definitely, this climate change tour will usher in a lot of challenges from the local and even civilized people. The courts are there to see that it is not a failure. And we reiterate our assurances that the judiciary is ready to handle whatever challenges this HOPE agenda tour of climate change will bring in. And it is our duty to see that Nigeria remains united. Without the law, the country cannot be united. Look at the world over, without judiciary, trying to weld together the connecting rods. No judiciary has ever survived. We are surviving in Nigeria because the Nigerian judiciary has been making pronouncements which continue to unite the corporate existence of our great country, Nigeria. We don't have any other way to go except the younger ones. Even when they japa, they know there is difference between their fatherland and their homeland. On this, as the administrator of the National Judicial Institute, on the authority of the chairman of the Board of Governors of the Institute, who is also the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Kekere Ekun, I hereby assure the Nigerian people that we will not fail you in this project. Thank you.
My Lord, Honorable Justice Adejumo, we can take that to the bank where the judiciary says, we will not fail you. Thank you very much, my Lord. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me invite here from the office of the Chief of Staff to the President, SSA to the President of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Enikan Olaye, to please step forward here and speak to us.
The Honorable Minister of Environment, representing Mr. President, the Honorable Minister of Livestock Development, heads of agencies and parastatals of government here present, members of diplomatic corps, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The Chief of Staff to Mr. President, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, has asked me to express his apologies for not being here this morning because he has another assignment on the instruction of Mr. President, and had asked me to just deliver two messages very briefly. One is to pledge the unstinting support of his office to this initiative, of which he is fully aware because the Minister of Environment and the three musketeers have always kept his office fully informed of this initiative. So he says you should take his support for granted. That's the second point. Second point, he stresses that climate change, as already mentioned, is an existential threat. But he had asked me to say that we should focus on the opportunities that this presents by ensuring that government at all levels, both at the federal, subnational levels, buy into these opportunities through awareness, which lies the significance of this tour. And finally, to congratulate the Honorable Minister of Environment, the Three Musketeers, the DG Climate Council, and all the other partners that are here with us, and express his appreciation for coming. And is confident that going forward, we will achieve the objective of the renewed hope agenda of this administration as regards the climate action. I thank you for your attention.
Straight to the point. Diplomats say it very sweetly. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Well, we appreciate you. Let me quickly welcome here His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Delta State, Sir Monday Onyeme, to please step forward here and speak to us about the issue at stake. Your Excellency, I welcome you.
Your Excellencies, the Honorable Minister for Environment, other ministers here present, top government functionaries, invited guests, please permit me to stand on already established protocol. I bring you warm greetings from His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff F.O. Oborewori, on whose instruction I am here. I am really honored to join you at this important milestone in Nigerian journey towards climate resilience. And so on behalf of the government and people of Delta State, I sincerely thank His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the Federal Ministry of Environment, and RECAT 2026 Committee for championing this timely national campaign. The Renew Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour come at a defining moment. By deepening public awareness, strengthening subnational actions, and mobilizing communities nationwide, it advances the Renew Hope agenda commitment to confront climate change, to confront climate challenge, while unlocking green growth, jobs, and environmental justice. As a proud Niger Delta state, Delta faces stark climate realities. Coastal erosions, flooding, pollution, disrupted livelihood, threats to our wetland and biodiversity. These are not distant concerns. They affect the daily lives of our people. Yet, Delta also stands ready to lead, drawing on our natural assets, strategic location, and enterprising youth. Guided by our MORE agenda, we are pursuing deliberate environmental stewardship through EcoDelta, our clean technology and digital governance initiatives. We are reducing paper use, we are lowering emissions, and we are promoting a greener public service. We are expanding renewable energy adoption strengthening environmental regulations, advancing climate-smart agriculture, and restoring our mangroves, improving flood control infrastructure, and supporting community-based waste management. These actions align squarely with the goals of RECAT 2026. Today, I affirm Delta State's full commitment to this federal initiative. We will mobilize local governments, traditional institutions, schools, and faith-based organizations and civil society to drive grassroots engagement. We will train climate champions. We will integrate climate education into our schools. We will create green jobs in recycling and renewables, and partner with federal agencies to scale resilient, high-impact projects. Climate change is a shared challenge, but our response can be shared triumph. Through practical actions, planting trees, reducing waste, conserving energy, and adopting sustainable practices, we can transform vulnerability into strength and renew hope into measurable progress. I commend the organizers of RECAT 2026 for this inclusive and forward-looking initiative. May today's launch spark stronger collaboration and lasting impact for our people and our planet. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, bless Delta State, and guide us towards sustainable and prosperous future. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We appreciate you. I'd like to recognize the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Persons with Disability, Honorable Abba Issa. That also says a lot about the President in terms of recognizing every strata of society. Also here is the essay to the President on Delivery and Coordination, Dr. Aishat Kabir, representing Madam Hadiza Bala Usman, Special Advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination. Also here, the CEO of Sterling One Foundation, Mrs. Peju Ibekwe, is here with us. Thank you very much. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Sweden, is represented Mr. Sheifumi Adigbite. Thank you very much. And let me welcome Onyikon Adedoyin, representing the Federal Ministry of Youth Development, and Theokalus Asotie, the Managing Director and Managing Partner, and Joshua Abe, partner of Abe and Asotie LP, all the way from Lagos to attend this event. I welcome all of you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly invite here SSA to the President on Energy Transition to move the vote of thanks. Please welcome Yasmin Mohammed.
Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on existing protocols. As we draw this important national engagement to a close, I would like to briefly reflect on what today represents. The Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour is not just another program on our national calendar. It's a bold commitment to take climate action beyond policy conversations and into communities across our 6 geopolitical zones, where awareness must translate into action. Today, we have reinforced a simple but powerful message. Climate resilience is everyone's responsibility, from government to private sector, from development partners
To youth groups, from farmers to innovators, each of us have a role to play in building a greener and more sustainable Nigeria. On behalf of the presidency, I would like to sincerely appreciate everyone that has supported this event, starting from His Excellency Mr. President, the Vice President, the Chief of Staff to the President, the Deputy Chief of Staff, the Honorable Minister of Environment, the DG National NCCC, civil society, and all the governors that have supported. I would also like to appreciate our sponsors and development partners for believing in this vision and for supporting this national initiative. Your partnership demonstrates that climate action is strongest when we work together. I wish to also commend the Planning Committee for this dedication, coordination, and tireless efforts in bringing this vision to life. In particular, I want to recognize Yusuf Kelani, the Special Assistant to the President on Climate Change Matters, whose leadership, commitment, and drive has been nothing but instrumental in making today a reality. Thank you for your passion and for ensuring that this vision moves from concept to action. As we move forward, may this tour not simply end as an event, but begin as a movement, one that inspires behavioral change, mobilizes investment, empowers our youth, and strengthens Nigeria's commitment to climate resilience and sustainable growth. Let us leave here determined to turn awareness into impact. Thank you all so much for your presence, your support, and your belief in a greener future for our nation. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you all.
Thank you. Somebody said the other day that climate change is not tomorrow's problem, it is today's consequence. Well, our next speaker, who is representing the president, totally believes, and I have monitored his work over the months, that the greatest legacy we can leave is not wealth, but a world that still breathes. So a nation that protects its environment is a nation that clearly protects its future. That's what he believes in. It's therefore my honor and pleasure to welcome His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, represented here by the Honorable Minister of Environment. I'd like to welcome here Malam Balarabe Musa Lawal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't want to be like my director. Please sit down, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's when I climb here that I can see the number of people that are around here, which shows that it's a very huge success. And I want to thank everybody for being here. So let me start by thanking the moderator of this program, who has done very well since we have started. We've been here for over 2 hours now. So I believe that it's not easy to do that kind of thing within this short time. So thank you very much for your effort. Let me start by recognizing His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Delta State, Samande Oyemi. We have not seen many governors here today because of the fact that today we are doing state congresses in most of the states. And I'm sure you know that a large number of the states are APC. So most of the governors are occupied with the state congresses as we are now talking about here. So that's why a large number of them are not here. And I also want to express the sincere apology of His Excellency, the President, who I believe is the main focus. His main focus is climate change. I could remember his first speech in Onga clearly demonstrated his commitment to the issue of environment, where he pushed the idea of a Pan-African Great Green Wall, which I think from that particular speech he made, we've been pushing that, and we have been doing that in trying to fence the entire African continent against the encroachment of the particularly South African
countries. So I want to extend this apology, and also it's always difficult to fill shoes like the shoes of president when you come to present them. So many people, by the time I come here, a large number of you are here to see the president, but when you see me, I am not sure I have seen, because I can see some disappointment, but please, the president is behind us. He's very much committed to what we're doing here, and he's here with us in spirit. So Excellency, you're most welcome for being here. Honorable Minister of Livestock, my brother, who is also here throughout. The commissioners that are here, I've seen a number of them from various states, representing their governors. Then also my sister, DG Entrusi, who is also here. She's coming all the way from Lagos to join us here today. And my brother, the UN resident representative who is here, who has been here. In fact, he came here before me, before 8 o'clock, Mohammed Malik Pal. He has always been supportive of what we are doing in the Ministry of Environment, and I believe in the entire efforts of Nigeria. He's always been here with us. Then also my sister, the UNDP resident representative, who is also very much here. A number of people wanted to hear her speak, but unfortunately for them, the boss is here, so she has to defer to the boss. So that's why we couldn't hear her speak, but we'll invite you at another level for you to speak, for us to hear. Then also have a number of DGs and CEOs of a number of institutions, a number of agencies in Nigeria, and heads of department that are here with us. And also let me borrow from my friend, the ambassador, to refer to the three musketeers. I hope I have the liberty to call them. That is the three people who have organized this. They have done that effectively based on the fact that many governors wanted to be here, but they couldn't because of certain issues. That is Yusuf Kelani, Ibrahim Shaleng, and Olameji Pajuji. And also I want to express our appreciation to the speaker, the expert lecturer, whom I have met several times, and who has been the one that has gingered us in doing many things. And I want to assure you, we are doing a lot of policies in the area you have mentioned here. And also members of the diplomatic corps that are here also. Then our partners, that you are partners, you have been very supportive of what you are doing, and we sincerely appreciate you. And also the NYC corps members that I can see them ably represented here, and even their band has been giving us a lot of nice music. So I want to also appreciate them for being here and supporting us. And I also want to appreciate other youth groups that I've seen lined up to join this important occasion. And also members of the press, ladies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Like I've made to do, because I'm reading His Excellency's speech. My one was read by the Director of Forestry. So whatever I'm going to say is from His Excellency, and with it. So today, we not merely flag off a tour. We launch a movement. The Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour represents more than a program of events across our state. It is a national call to action, a call to responsibility, to innovation and opportunity. Climate change is no longer a distant forecast. It is here. It affects our farmers in the north who are facing encroachment of the desert. It affects our coastal communities in the south, confronting erosion and flooding across the country. It affects our business management, businesses, management of energy costs and supply chain disruption. And it affects our young people whose future depends on the choices we make today. Let me be clear. Climate change is not only about risk, it's about opportunity. Nigeria stands at a defining moment in history. The global transition to low carbon development is accelerating. Capital is shifting. Markets are evolving. Technology is transforming industries, and the nation that positions themselves wisely today will lead tomorrow. We intend to be one of those nations. Through this tour, we will take climate awareness beyond conference halls into communities. We will engage governors and traditional rulers. We will work with students, innovators, entrepreneurs, farmers, and financial institutions. We will identify bankable projects, will unlock local solutions, and we will strengthen Nigeria's capacity to mobilize climate finance on scale. Our nationally determined contributions are not merely documents. They are commitment to reduce emission, to build resilience, and to protect people. But commitments must be matched with action, and action must be supported by investment. This tour helps bridge that gap. We'll use it to catalyze project pipelines at the subnational level. We will also use it to deepen our understanding of carbon markets and green finance. We'll use it to mobilize partnerships between the public and the private sector, and we'll use it to inspire a new generation of climate leaders. To our governors, your states are the engine of climate resilience and green growth. To our private sector, the future economy will reward those who innovate boldly and invest responsibly. To our development partners, Nigeria is ready to collaborate with transparency, ambition, and accountability. And to our young people, this transition belongs to you. Your ideas, your technology, your entrepreneurship will shape the Nigeria of tomorrow. This aligns with our Renewed Hope agenda, an agenda that recognizes that sustainable development, energy security, food security, and economic growth are not competing priorities. They are interconnected pillars of national prosperity. Climate finance is not a charity. It is a strategic investment. Climate resilience is not optional. It is national security. And climate leadership is not a burden. It is a responsibility we accept with confidence. As we plug this tour today, let it be known that Nigeria chooses leadership over hesitation. We choose partnership over isolation. We choose innovation over stagnation. And we choose hope over fear. Let this tour ignite ideas. Let it generate tangible projects. Let it unlock new financing. Let it build capacity in every community it touches. And let it send a clear message to the world. Nigeria is ready. Ready to lead in Africa, ready to compete globally, ready to transform challenges into opportunities, ready to build climate resilience and prosperous nation for our generation yet to come. Together we will turn awareness into action. We'll turn action into investment. We'll turn investment into a stronger, greener, more resilient Nigeria. With this, I hereby declare the Renewed Hope Climate Change Awareness Tour officially plugged off. God bless all of us. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I want to thank you very much for being here and for being here for such a long time to us. Let me close by saying that the political leadership that should have been here, the governors, the ministers, and all that are not here, maybe a small minus. But the stakeholders I've seen here today, the bankers, head of agencies, our partners, senior diplomats that are here, show that this particular event is a huge success. We have seen a number of stakeholders that are here, and I believe that what I can see here today is going to be translated into support for this tour, because we need this tour. We need to take climate change down the ladder. We need to get our youth, our women, and everybody in climate change. The professor said that we don't have any alternative planet. I always say it. Since we are young, in the 60s, many attempts were made to go to the moon, to go to Mars, and many planets around. But up to this moment, the intention is to look for alternative to planet Earth. But there is no alternative to planet Earth. So it's our duty to make sure that we protect this planet. It is the only one we have, and we should try to do it for ourselves, for our children, and for our grandchildren. We must try to keep the environment clean, because I always say that environment is the gateway to health. Once we can keep our environment clean, we are going to guarantee our healthy living. So I want us to take this and try to see that we protect and support our environment, right? Because, like I said, the mother is always crying for our support. We've seen the pictures presented by the prof showing that there are many, many problems that is confronting us. Like I always say, in Nigeria, for example, we have floods in areas that should least have floods. Flood in Sokoto, for example, flood in Maiduguri, flood in Katsina. These are areas that hardly get enough rainfall, but they have floods. And that was not there before. It wasn't there before. And that is because of climate change. So we must find ways and means of trying to address this and do that. There are so many solutions that have been provided. I cannot do that in these few minutes I have, but we have to find ways and means of addressing climate change. It is there. Anybody who says there's no climate change is deceiving himself. Climate change is there, it's real, and we must confront it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your pencil. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us give a presidential round of applause to the Honorable Minister. The three musketeers now will be distributing the manuscripts so that they can take photograph with it as we unveil it to take it around the country. The Honorable Minister, alongside the team from the United Nations, UNDP, Professor Babajide Alo, Emmanuel Oladipo, Mr. Desmond Mayeko-Dumi, the Director General of the Council for Environmental Change, representatives of state governors that are here, ministers and their representatives, directors general that are present, all SSAP's senior special assistants to the president that are also here. You'll be having copies of script C for photograph.
Are we able to expand to this side?
It will spread.
We have to move on. Beyond here. And they told people should be behind us.
The Honorable Minister of Livestock also join us.
Are we still relevant here?
Huh?
So we take the brief message from the Honorable Minister for Livestock, and then we take the group photo with the script document. Where is the UN country? Please, he has to come forward.
We can talk about the livestock, but you can now launch this.
The representatives of the Mr. President, my friend and brother, the Minister of Environment, distinguished diplomats, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is a goodwill message from the Livestock Ministry, Ministry of Livestock Development. By all standards and measurements, livestock is in the direct firing line of climate change. And therefore, we are conscious of the impact of climate change on livestock. And in fact, there is a little quandary here whether the cow is an agent or a victim of livestock. But for us in the ministry, under the New Hope agenda, we are embarking on a very, very ambitious transformation of the livestock sector in line with nature-based solutions. So this tour, this awareness tour, should be taken to the last frontiers. Every cattle camp, every grazing reserve, every livestock center, every livestock producer should be enveloped in this tour. The jingles, the video clips, the dance dramas, the pamphleteering should be done in every language so that it gets to the last mile. And we are going to work with this awareness tour to make sure that the entire country is mobilized, particularly the livestock sector. And the script we are holding here today is a testament that this is going to happen. So thank you very much indeed for inviting us here. We are going to be part of you all over the country, from New Martin in Borno to Baelsa, from Sokoto to Calabar. Everywhere there's livestock, we are going to be part of this galvanizing effort. Thank you very much.
So, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude, let us remember, the climate is not changing by accident, it is changing by action. And today, Nigeria chooses action. The tour begins now. The movement begins now. The responsibility begins with us. On behalf of the President and the Minister of Environment, thank you for being part of this defining national moment. Together, we will build a Nigeria that is not only prosperous, but very sustainable. I'd like to thank all of you for being part of this amazing event. Shall we have the national anthem? Let us rise, please. The national anthem, NYC. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.